Hi there and thank you for tuning in. Here to the right I have the Viltrox product, the NF-Z adapter, but it actually is an F2Z adapter aimed at doing exactly the same as the Nikon original here to the left. I just wanted to show you this box here in case you wanted to search for the product here. Otherwise I will put this one apart and just focus on the products here. As you can see, they are extremely similar. And if your first question is, why would I need one of these? I would say go watch another video that I have. I will post a link to it where I talk a little bit about why you would want one of these. But provided that you have decided that you need one of these, this review is for you. So why would you want to go for the Viltrox? I can think of two reasons. One is that it's available in the market. I think the Nikon, especially the Mark I, is a little bit difficult to get to. This is August 2022. And then the Mark II, which is a bit more expensive than the Mark I. They have dropped the bottom part here to make it work better with the Nikon Z9, and that version is a little bit more expensive. So the Mark I here on the original is a little bit difficult to get to from new, and also there is a significant price difference. So that would be my two reasons for why you would want to go for the Viltrox here to the right. My approach in this review will be to compare these two, and I will not make a review as such from scratch. I think you probably have an idea about how this one performs. There are several issues with the original, one of them being that it lacks an autofocus motor, meaning all your AF glass was left with manual focus, but there are several other issues, and I would say perhaps it is wise to stay with the Nikon product only for relatively modern lenses. Older lenses I would stay with the F mount and the good old DSLRs. But if we compare these two products, you can see they are extremely similar in physical appearance. The Viltrox is 145 grams and a little bit heavier than the Nikon, but otherwise it seems to be very similar. They are, solidly built products, and I can't really point to a difference in the physical appearance or the build quality. There are two things the Viltrox has going for it, and one thing here is what they call a reservation button. You can see that sits down here. It's a little bit difficult to move back and forth, but I think they have assessed that maybe someday they would need to have a little button and use that for whatever. So that of course is a little bit thinking ahead. And the other thing the Viltrox has is it has a USB-C connector. You can see it's right here. And that enables them to download new software. And this is smart because Viltrox of course has the issue that they need to be compatible with a protocol that is, as far as I know, not open source, meaning they have probably had to reverse engineer how the Viltrox adapter works relative to the Nikon, whereas Nikon has access to all their lenses and all their protocols on all the internals. So of course they have a huge advantage here. One of the things you should be aware of with the Viltrox here is exactly which lenses they have announced that the Viltrox is compatible with. And I can show you that. It's on their homepage. I would assume this list would develop over time, but I actually don't know. So my advice to you would be to be very, very careful and study that list of compatible lenses, and also be aware that the list is not only lenses, but also camera bodies. So to give you an example, I have been testing the adapter with this, one of my favorite lenses, the 70 to 200 millimeter lens, and it's number 10 on their list, and it works like a charm. I can't really tell the difference between the original adapter and then the Viltrox one. So this one works really, really well. Another I have tested is the 16 to 35 millimeter lens here, and this one also works well. I will say that maybe autofocus is a tad slower with the Viltrox lens, but it is so little that I have not been able to measure it in real life. Focusing near and far 10 times and timing that, I couldn't really find a difference. But it feels a little bit slower, but otherwise it works like a charm. And I would say for a 16 to 35 millimeter lens, maybe autofocus isn't the most critical thing and the speed of it. So again here, two lenses where Viltrox say it will work, and it actually does. Then I tried shooting with a lens that wasn't compatible according to Viltrox. the 28-105, a really great lens. I have a review of it. It's dirt cheap and it performs relative to its price really, really well. Here the issue was I got an error message. If you have ever tried to mount a lens where you forgot to put it in the minimum aperture position, you get this FE error. And this is exactly what I got here. I got an FE error even though it was correctly positioned. So I wrote to Viltrox, and what did they do? Well, they sent me a new version of the software. And this of course is smart. If you believe that Viltrox will actually react to such messages about things that doesn't work, then you can hope that they will produce a new version of the software. And then this USB connection here will enable you to download a new version of the software, and all of a sudden it then starts working. And this is exactly what happened with this one. You will see that it went from not working to actually working. So that was a very good experience, but of course it is a little bit learning by doing, I think, here, and you have to put your trust in Viltrox and their ability and willingness to spend time in updating their software. Another example is the 135 f2 lens here, defocus control. An absolutely wonderful lens. And here, when I mount that on my Viltrox adapter on the Z6, I get the EXIF information that I'm shooting at f1. And of course, that is flat out wrong. So it seems like here also there is an issue. I have not told Viltrox about this. Maybe they see that when they see this video. But this is another example of a lens that doesn't work. But in all fairness, this lens is not on Viltrox's list of compatible lenses. But just to say to you, when you step outside that list, that is exactly when this product, I wouldn't say stops working, because I was able to take a picture, but when it doesn't work as it should work. The Viltrox and the Nikon are very, very similar, build quality and so on. And I can't really say that one is better than the other. What I can say is that the compatible list for Viltrox is much shorter than it is for Nikon. And also mind you that Viltrox not only has to make the lens compatible for Nikon lenses, they also have to do that for Sigma and Tokina and so on and so forth. And they also have to do it for different camera bodies with different versions of the software. If you look at the Viltrox list, you can see that it's actually only Z6 Mark II and Z7 Mark II they have tested. So there's no guarantee that it will work, for instance, with a Z50. I have tested it though, and it seems to work fine, but just be aware that there is a limit to how many combinations that Viltrox has tested. And that brings me to the conclusion here in the review. I would say the Viltrox is a fine product, but where it has shortcoming is the number of combinations that it will support. And if you have combinations that are outside their list of tested products, or you may in the future need to step outside that list, I would be a bit cautious with the Viltrox. On the other hand, if you, like me, shoot a lot with a few lenses that are on the list of compatible lenses, then I wouldn't hesitate to save a few bucks going for the Viltrox instead of the Nikon. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you for watching. As always, happy shooting. Take care. Bye bye.